George Birrell is a working artist from the country of Scotland. He attended an art school and became a professor of art and design. He has gone back and forth from teaching art to being a full-time artist. Viewers love the sense of space and use of color in his artworks. He most often paints scenes of Scottish buildings, fishing villages, and boats. His details in his landscapes are abstract and interesting. People around the world collect the art and prints of Birrell.
We are going to be creating a house or a village, whatever you decide to do, in the style of George Birrell, the famous Scottish artist. I love how he does his trees, so I'm going to make sure I include some trees in my artwork. Another thing that I saw that was really cool was it looked like a wagon wheel in front of a house, but I believe that it was like for water to run over. Also, I like his paintings where there's churches included. I like his paintings where there are different houses that are stacked in front of each other because they show a great sense of space. But he uses some basic shapes. He uses some basic shapes like rectangles to start. Often his roofs have flatter shapes, so I'm going to include some of those in my artwork. I'm going to start out with just a couple of houses. I'm going to put a house back in the distance. And I'm going to have a tree be there. I just want simple shapes, but I don't want to just slap my windows on my homes. I want to have nice, neat lines inside my windows. George Birrell's houses look really, really fun. I like the trees especially because it's like he draws circles first or paints circles, and then he lets the branches go up into the trees and just lets them go wild. And that sometimes the branches even touch the edges of the trees, even though I know that doesn't really look like a real tree. These are abstract versions of trees. You can draw these with a Sharpie, you can draw with a pencil, you can draw with crayons, whatever your teacher asks you to use. You could do this on any kind of paper. Make sure I add plenty of details. Remember the sense of space that I said George Birrell likes to create. So I'm going to come back in and make some trees going back behind his with branches touching the edges. Sometimes seeing someone else draw something can help spark ideas for you. So I wouldn't just sit down and copy what I've done. I would come up with some cool ideas of my own. It's called being creative and using your imagination. Often there are pictures of boats in his artworks too. So I'm going to include a little boat down here in the bottom. The reason why he includes these pictures of boats is because he thinks about the Scottish fishing villages whenever he's creating his artworks. So you could even make it look as if there's water down in front of the houses. Maybe there's some bushes. I'm putting my own little spin on this. But adding all these layers creates a good sense of space. It doesn't make your drawing look flat. I remember I said I was going to do a tree here. So I'm going to go ahead and include that. Add in the branches. Branches are going to go back into the edge of the circular shape that I drew. Okay, I'm going to make this house look like it's on another little layer of land back behind these trees. And I can come back in with some more windows and doors, whatever details I want to have. You can add different lines and designs on the roofs. If you look really closely at his artworks, you'll see lots of subtle patterns. I'm going to make it where it's nighttime, so I'm going to include a moon. And whenever you add color to these, you can bear down hard on your crayons or bear down hard on whatever material you're using, and it's going to make darker places, of course. And you can bear down hard on, or not bear down hard on other places, and it's going to make lighter colors. You could do that in the sky and make it look like it's a little bit foggy. I'm making some of my clouds overlap other clouds. I need some windows in these homes here. But just add and stack your details. Use inspiration from the artworks that we just saw by George Birrell. There are lots of beautiful landscapes and buildings in Scotland. And George Birrell is a current artist. He is currently working. That means he is still a working artist. He's still alive. And he creates these beautiful paintings. If you look him up online, you can buy some of his prints from his artworks. There's a gallery that well, I'm not sure if it's exclusive, but there's a gallery that sells a lot of his artworks. He sells mainly through them. His artworks may be available somewhere else, but that's where I saw his main prints. So I thought that was pretty cool. You might want to include doors. These could be hidden by the land in front of the houses, but I think this looks a lot like George Birrell's style. So I'm going to leave my artwork alone now, and I can add color to it and it will be complete. I am going to sign it here in the corner, just like I've signed all the other artworks this week. I hope you enjoy creating like George Birrell, the Scottish artist.